Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are digging into a really huge collection of sources. We're talking about the early days of a global pandemic, Captain Trips, and, well, the total collapse of civilization that followed.
It's an immense amount of material. And, it's interesting. The author actually put notes in addressing that. He knew some people might call this expanded version bloated and overlong.
Yeah, I saw that. And I loved his defense, saying those extra pages, like 400 of them, add richness and dimension.
Exactly. He uses that analogy like Hansel's breadcrumbs or the rabbit hearts in the fairy tale. Not strictly needed for the plot, maybe, but they add the magic.
And you feel that richness, or maybe that horror, right from the start with the superflu itself, Captain Trips. It just moves so fast.
It really does. It's not some drawn-out war. It's just systems failing.
Yeah.
Almost immediately, you see Stu Redman in Texas watching that car crash.
Right, the Chevy hitting the gas pumps, not with a bang, but just sort of sliding in, a steady 15 or so. Driver's head hitting the windshield. It's chillingly quiet, almost.
And then the symptoms hit. The coughing, the breathing problems, swollen glands, fever. We see it in Charlie Campion, the driver, then Sheriff Baker. It spreads like wildfire.
And the official response is, well, predictable, isn't it?
Completely. The public line is this moderately serious outbreak of influenza. But the internal documents, they tell a very different story.
They confirm it was an artificial situation created in America. And the absolute top priority was hiding where it came from.
Which led to chaos within the ranks, the military, the CDC. We have Starkey watching containment just fall apart.
And then the really dark stuff starts happening, executing broadcasters, like at WBZ, for treason, just for reporting the news. Martial law basically dissolving into local fiefdoms.
Yeah, like Major Nunn taking provisional command in San Francisco. Provisional meaning nobody's really in charge anymore. The whole structure just evaporated.
So, okay, amidst this total collapse, certain people survive, and the sources really focus on a few key individuals. Let's get into their personal journeys, because they're kind of the core of this restart.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is how unsuitable, maybe, they seem. Like Stu Redman.
Yeah, Stu. He's our first major viewpoint. Not a soldier, not a scientist, just a guy from East Texas. We learn about his brother, the systems analyst, and his mom and wife, both dying of the same cancer. So much loss already.
Right, and he ends up being this biological key. His time in the Stovington facility in Vermont is just incredible to read about.
They actually injected him with the live virus.
They did. The blue virus, they called it.
Yeah.
And he just killed it. His body fought it off.
Which baffled everyone.
Totally. He became this living miracle or monster, depending on your viewpoint. The guards calling him Mr. Stewart, Prince Redman.
Yeah.
You just hear the fear and sarcasm.
Then you have Larry Underwood, a complete contrast.
Yeah. Larry, the musician, the one-hit wonder. Baby, Can You Dig Your Man was on the Billboard chart. But he's carrying so much baggage.
The party life, the drugs, Dewey the deck, keeping the bowls full, money just vanishing.
And that relationship with his mother, wow, it's harsh. She calls him a taker.
Didn't she write something on his forehead once?
Yeah, the nasty word, the source says, as a punishment when he was a kid. That stuff sticks,
Definitely. And it all comes crashing down on him later, that scene, kneeling beside her body in that hospital hallway.
God, yeah. Crammed in with thousands of others who are also busy dying. It's just raw grief and maybe, finally, some understanding of his own failures. Loss of his friend Rudy, his career, his mother. It all hits him.
So, deep wounds there. Then over in Maine, we meet Franny Goldsmith.
Right, Franny and Ogunquit. And she's facing her own crisis even before the plague really hits her down. She's pregnant.
And the reaction from her boyfriend Jess is just, oh, hell. Not exactly supportive.
No. But the real explosion is with her mother, Carla.
The genealogist, obsessed with the family tree back to, 1638?
That's the one. And when Franny tells her about the pregnancy, Carla just loses it. It's like Franny's news completely shatters her mother's whole ordered view of the world, of the family line.
It's such a powerful image. Carla clinging to these old family lines while the whole world is literally ending.
And it gets violent. Carla's breakdown is so intense that Franny's dad actually has to hit her, his own wife, to stop her screaming at Franny. It's this awful domestic echo of the larger chaos.
Intense. And the last of this initial group is Nick Andros.
Nick, yeah. Deaf and mute. His story starts with incredible violence, too. Getting beaten up, shoved around like a bleeding scarecrow. Just brutal.
But what's striking is how quickly he steps up.
Right. He goes from being a victim to suddenly being the responsible one. taking care of the sick Baker family, dealing with the prisoners Hogan and Childress left behind in the jail.
It's like the crisis forces this maturity on him. Out of silence comes action.
Exactly. So you have these four very different, very damaged people. And as they start to move, they all seem to get pulled almost magnetically towards one of two poles.
Setting the stage for this huge ideological conflict.
Yeah.
Good versus evil, basically, but maybe more complex than that.
Definitely more complex. Let's talk about the West first. Las Vegas and Randall Flagg.
The man in black. The walking dude. The descriptions are terrifying. Just this. Presence. A clot looking for a place to happen. Heading down US 51 towards Vegas. His Cibola.
And think about who he attracts. We mentioned Glenn Bateman's later idea about rationalism causing the collapse. Flagg is almost the dark side of that coin. He offers structure, power, efficiency.
To the people the old world left behind.
Precisely. Look at Lloyd Henreid. Locked up, a nobody. Flagg offers him not just freedom, but religious ecstasy. The pleasure of being chosen as his right-hand man. Instant elevation.
It's power, pure and simple. And what about Trash Can Man?
Donald Merwin Elbert, the pyromaniac. Flagg doesn't want his soul. He wants his particular skill set. He tells Trashy he'll be high in my artillery, shows him visions of cities going up like bombs.
So Flagg is building an army based on specific destructive talents. It's very pragmatic, very goal-oriented.
And ruthlessly enforced. The discipline is absolute. You step out of line, you become an example. Like Ek Drogan.
Crucified for using drugs. In the middle of Vegas.
Yeah. It's control through terror. Spectacle is a management tool. Very efficient in its own horrific way.
Okay, so that's the darkness gathering in Vegas. What's the counterpoint?
The counterpoint is gathering in Boulder, Colorado, and it's centered around Mother Abigail Fremantle.
A 108-year-old woman from Nebraska.
Exactly, a black woman from Hemingford Home, Nebraska. And she represents, well, faith, something completely irrational. She has this shining lamp of God, a kind of prophetic ability.
And she calls people not through orders or promises of power, but through dreams.
That's the key. Stu, Larry, Franny, Nick. They all start having these shared dreams of her or her farm, the cornfields, the tire swing, the house on Jack Lister's. It's this subconscious pull.
It defies logic. How does that even work?
Well, that's where Glenn Bateman, the sociologist they pick up along the way, has some interesting thoughts. He admits the dreams are irrational.
But he thinks that's why people trust them.
Right. He says they love and trust Mother Abigail, all the more because of the dream that frightened them. Presumably dreams of Flagg. They're choosing this unexplainable good feeling over the explainable, terrifying efficiency of Flagg.
Fascinating. But dreams aren't enough to run a town, right? They have to build something real in Boulder.
Exactly. And that's the next phase. They form the Boulder Free Zone Committee.
Mm-hmm.
They have to actually govern.
And Bateman, again, the pragmatist, maybe the cynic, he immediately sees a problem.
He predicts that the tech people, the engineers, the ones who value systems and efficiency above all else, they're likely going to drift towards Flagg.
Because Flagg will make the cranes run on time.
Basically. Bateman says Flagg will be very interested in getting things like missile silos and maybe a B-52 bomber or two back online. That appeals to a certain mindset.
So how do they counter that in Boulder? How do they structure their new government?
They go for something deliberately less centralized, a kind of New England township model, electing 7 free zone representatives, trying to keep it local, decentralized.
But they still need a central figure, right? Someone or something to hold it together.
They do. And that's where Mother Abigail comes back in. Formally this time. They grant her absolute veto power. She's the titular head. Why? Because, as they put it, she is the thing we all have in common.
So they literally write the irrational, the faith element into their government structure.
They do, which is a huge risk. And that risk, that fragility, gets tested almost immediately by an internal threat. Harold Lauder.
Ah, Harold. The darkness within the free zone itself.
He's consumed by bitterness, jealousy, especially towards Stu because of Fran. He keeps this ledger, filling it with his hate.
It's chilling. He's so poisoned by his own insecurity that he actually suggests using Veronal, a drug, to try and stop the good dreams people are having. He wants to attack the very thing holding them together.
And the irony is they give him this incredibly important, incredibly grim job. He's put in charge of the burial crew.
Hawk, that's his nickname.
Yeah. And the descriptions of that work, calling the dead units the sound of coins, change falling from the pockets of the dead men and women as they're raked into mass graves. It's horrific.
You'd think that would change a person, humble them maybe.
But not Harold. It seems to just harden his resentment. He's dealing with the physical end of the old world, and he still can't let go of his old world grudges.
This internal tension, Harold's plotting, it just hangs over everything as they face their biggest external decision yet.
Sending spies west, into Flag's territory, Las Vegas.
A huge decision. Who do they even consider?
Well, there's Judge Ferris. He's smart, experienced, but he's also 70, too old for adventure, as the source notes. It's a tough call.
And then Nick Andrews comes up with this completely unexpected idea.
Radical, really. He proposes sending Tom Cullen.
Tom Cullen, who is developmentally disabled. M-O-O-N, that spells Tom.
Exactly. Nick's argument is pure counter-logic. Flag, the adversary, will be looking for cleverness, for strength in the conventional sense. He'll never expect someone like Tom Cullen to be a spy.
It's using Flag's own calculating nature against him. His rationalism has a blind spot for the truly unexpected, the truly irrational, in a way.
And they test it. They hypnotize Tom. And under hypnosis, this other consciousness emerges. He says, I am God's Tom.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's profound. And based on that and Nick's argument, the committee votes 5-2. They decide to send Tom.
This huge gamble, and a morally complex one.
Deeply complex, and they don't sugarcoat the stakes. Tom's instructions are brutal.
If he was seen by one person only, to kill him.
Right. This new society, founded on hope and dreams, immediately has to embrace lethal measures for survival. It's a harsh reality check.
And just as they make this incredibly difficult reason-based decision, their spiritual anchor disappears.
Poof. Mother Abigail just walks out, goes to the wilderness to pray for guidance.
Leaving the committee completely on their own. No more dreams, no more divine veto. Just them, their own flawed human judgment.
Talk about being thrown into the deep end. They're forced to rely entirely on themselves right when the stakes are highest.
So, bringing this all together, what's the final takeaway here? As these survivors try to rebuild, what kind of leadership emerges?
Well, think about who rises to the top in Boulder. It's Stu. It's Larry, eventually. People defined by their flaws and their ability to act despite fear, not because they lack it.
They're not the perfect heroes. They're not the hyper-competent managers Bateman worried about defecting.
Exactly. And this connects back to Bateman's core idea about what caused the collapse in the first place. Not the virus, not technology, but rationalism.
His definition being the idea we can ever understand anything about the state of being, the arrogance of believing we have total control.
So the provocative thought maybe is this. In rebuilding, they instinctively choose leaders who are less certain, less in love with their own logic. People unlikely to fall in love with power, as the source puts it.
Maybe the best foundation for a functioning moral democracy isn't perfect efficiency or absolute certainty, but humility, acknowledging the flaws.
Perhaps. Perhaps it's the leaders who are most aware of their own limitations, their own fear, who are least likely to repeat the mistakes of the old world's unquestioned rationalism. Something for you, the listener, to definitely think about.